Hello, everybody. I'm Dave Farrow, two-time Guinness Record holder for greatest memory, and this is Brain Hacker. Just remember, your brain isn't broken, the world is. Today, we are going to talk about how to develop unshakable self-confidence. This is actually something that I've had for a long time, but I had to develop it. And it's one of my own personal traits that in my personal life, people have commented on more than anything. And I want you to know that there is a difference between real self-confidence and that sort of arrogant thing that people put on pretending to be self-confident. There's a lot of times people are pretending to be self-confident and really it's a mask to hide insecurities. I can just tell you from experience, that's not what I got. I'm going to tell you how to do actual self-confidence, and it's so simple. In just a couple of minutes, you can feel better about yourself, and I hope it really does for you what it's done for me. To give you some context, I was diagnosed with ADHD and dyslexia when I was 14 years old. I was told that I'd never be able to learn anything, that I'd never be able to run a business, et cetera, et cetera. And right now, I run several businesses. I've run an agency for years. I'm an international speaker. I'm a best-selling author. In short, I made them eat their words. Here's how it was done. Number one, I had to believe in myself when everybody else around me didn't believe in me. And I still get this to this day. I can have all sorts of negativity. And although it does affect me, I can tell you it Swiss cheeses my brain when I'm in a stressful situation or I'm around people who are very negative and, can affect me emotionally. At the end of the day, it doesn't affect my core belief that I can accomplish something, and I keep plowing towards my goals. So take that for what it's worth. I want you to visualize confidence like it's a table. This is a metaphor that a lot of experts have used, so I didn't invent this model. But if you think of confidence as a table and there's multiple legs holding it up, if you have one good positive experience in your life and a bunch of negative ones, that table is very shaky. It's just got one pole on it, right? But if you have this confident experience, this positive experience, this belief over here, you have several things that back up your confidence, then people can be as negative as they want. They can try to strike it down and you will have unshakable self-confidence. So number one, set a goal. Try hard to do something and accomplish it. Now, I know that sounds obvious to just say, hey, just do a cool thing and accomplish it, but there's nothing like a positive effect in your life. You can do the simplest of goals. You could be like, I'm going to wake up at 7 o'clock every day for a month. Like anything, lower the bar to just keeping your room clean. If that's what that is what's difficult for you, lower the bar to something that you can do, but it's going to take effort over a period of time, and say, I'm going to do this thing for a week or for a month. That's fine. That will give you a positive experience that cannot be taken away. Anytime somebody tries to hurt your self-confidence, you will have that to look back on to say, you know what, I at least accomplished that. I'm not a complete idiot, right? Now, add to that what I'm going to give you right now, which is just a simple thought experiment. There are two thought experiments that worked for me. Number one is develop the strong belief that you have not failed until you quit. Quitting is the only way you fail. So think of this as like running a business, right? I run several businesses. Many businesses lose money. They lose money in the first few years even. There's many that are actually operating just on investment dollars. Some billion-dollar companies lose money every single year. So if I have a business that's losing money, have I failed? No, absolutely not. But if I declare bankruptcy or if I fold up that business, then I've failed, right? I remember having this conversation when I was just a kid. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I was having a conversation with a guidance counselor. And I said, I want to run my own business. I want to be the boss, right? And the guidance counselor looked at my grades, looked at my ADD, looked at all the things that I was struggling with and said, listen, you have to be more realistic. And she thought that she was going to dissuade me from this by saying a statistic. She said that only 1 in 10 businesses succeed. And I was like, do you really think it's that high? Because I was thinking 1 in 100. And the reason why I still had so much self-confidence is the very next line I said to her. I said, that means I only have to try 10 times and I'm guaranteed success. 10 times, I could do that in a week. Like even today, with online businesses, could you start 10 businesses in a weekend? Absolutely. Right. So by flipping that around, saying, if I won't fail unless I quit, it doesn't make you terrified of failure anymore. It makes you terrified of quitting. And that makes you a very dangerous person in this world. Let me tell you that from experience. You know, the other thing that I would say is a belief that I've developed over time is that if any other person is capable of doing something with enough effort and enough time, I could probably do something just about as good. That is really my fundamental belief. And it is not an arrogant belief to think that you can be as good as other people. It's an arrogant belief to think you're better than everybody, by the way. So this is something that is a very healthy belief to develop in a healthy brain. This is something that psychologists talk about to try to get out of this mindset that, oh, I'm terrible, I'm horrible. You're gonna be in this world and you're gonna have so many people negative to you, and it affects me too. My brain gets Swiss cheesed. I went through a whole period where I was much more forgetful than I normally would be, just because of the environment I was in and what I was dealing with. But I can tell you from experience that even though that it affects you, it doesn't have to affect your confidence. And your confidence is your belief in yourself that someday you'll figure this out. Someday you'll get there. And this came in handy for my Guinness record. My first time that I went for my Guinness record, I failed. Like straight up, it was a positive or negative event, and I failed at it. I still did more than most people would find humanly possible, but I did not succeed at the Guinness record. And in that moment, I saw where I got distracted. I saw where I could improve, and I knew exactly how to succeed. And I literally had to go back to friends and family that had told me that they knew I was going to fail. They, like some cousins, bet money that I would fail. Think about that. Nobody bet on me. They all bet against me. And I went up to them and I said, double or nothing. And they still owe me money because I went 30 days later. I went back and I succeeded, because at the end of the day, you have not failed until you quit. You have not failed until you quit. If you're ready to learn how your brain really works, well, that's why I wrote Brain Hacker. Because your brain is not broken. The world is. Brain Hacker is over 55 brain hacks for things like canceling cravings to stick to your diet, sleeping better, speed reading, sharpening communication, increasing IQ, and of course, better focus and memory. But it's also in story form, so it's easier to learn, following how I went from being an ADHD dyslexic kid at the bottom of all my classes to rising so fast they thought I was cheating, to breaking Guinness World Records from memory and building businesses around the world. It's all based around one core idea, that life is shaping your brain to fail, but brain hacks train your mind for success so you can thrive in the modern world without being consumed by it. So buy Brain Hacker today, and with proof of purchase, you actually get a discount on my other courses and products. And then consider joining brainhackers.com, where over 1,000 members so far are sharing their brain hacks from their life. See you there. That's it. That's the thought experiment. Get yourself into the mindset that given enough time and effort, you can accomplish what just about anybody else has accomplished. Mind you, there are, some caveats for talent. Obviously, if you're, 4'6", you're not going to be playing in the NBA. But most of the time, talent always plays a backseat to effort. And you can see this with some of the most successful people out there. They're some of the most hardest working people that exist. Of course, the smart person puts a lot of effort behind what they are already talented at. But at the same time, developing that belief that just about anything in this world is at your fingertips if you're willing to work for it, that changes the conversation in your head. Now you're no longer thinking, oh, I wish I could have this. I wish I could have that. I wish I could have this thing in my life. You're only thinking to yourself, how much effort is that going to take? How much is that really worth it to put out the type of effort to accomplish that? And it changes the metrics completely. I mean, this is how I got into design engineering. I had no technical background whatsoever. Didn't do anything in school technically, but I had a fascination with robotics. I had a fascination with design, and I taught myself. And you might think, well, that's great. Good for you, Dave. Well, I happened to work for a medical startup, and I was involved in designing something that is in hospitals to this day, and I was paid to do it. And I've also done a biotech startup. I did a robotics company, and now I'm working on a patent for a new construction brick, actually, that if everything goes well, it could make me a very wealthy man. And I never would have accomplished or even tried any of these things if I didn't have the confidence to say, hey, if I desire something with enough time and effort, I can get there. if it's possible for any other human being to do it, it's possible for me to do it. In fact, that was the very thought that I had when I read in the Guinness Book of Records. My good friend now, Dominic O'Brien, who he had the record before me. I thought, you know what, if he can do it, I can do it. I just have to figure out how. If you have that mindset, that is the mindset of champions. So I hope this has helped you develop that mindset that if anybody else in the world can do it, you can do it. And also that you have not failed unless you quit. Those two things are very valuable. And then set a goal, stick with it until you accomplish it. And that will make the third and the fourth and the fifth leg for your table. And I can tell you, after you accomplish a bunch of things that people say you can't accomplish, you're never going to lose confidence ever again. Can you be flustered? Can you be stressed? Can you have anxiety? Absolutely. You can have bad times and good times, but having confidence behind the scenes the whole time gives you an unfair advantage in this world. And honestly, I wish everybody had this. I think there is an epidemic of low self-esteem in this world. I've been called overconfident myself, and I honestly think the world is underconfident. We could accomplish so much more in this world if we just believed in ourselves. So go out there, believe in yourself, use these thought experiment hacks, and tell me in the comments how it works for you. Till next time, don't forget me. I won't forget you.